Named the national mammal by President Obama on May 9th in 2016, the bison is the subject of today's video. First, we will establish a timeline, and then we will talk about its importance to the Native Americans. Scientists believe that bison crossed the Bering Land Bridge from Asia into North America, and that by the 1500s there were between 30 and 60 million roaming the continent. In the 16, 17, and 1800s, Europeans aggressively expanded westward from the East Coast, changing the habitat, introducing diseases from cattle, and introducing competition for access to grazing land. By 1802, there were no bison from Ohio eastward. In the 1820s, horses and rifles were introduced to the plains, and the destruction of the bison herds kicked into a high gear by the 1830s. By the 1840s, there were no bison west of the Rockies, an area where they never were prominent, but now they were gone completely. In 1844, the Hudson Bay Company reported trading 75,000 bison hides in Canada. By the 1860s, railroads had begun to cross the continent, effectively dividing the bison into a northern and southern herd. As the railroads were being built, bison were hunted to feed the workers. William Frederick Cody earned his nickname of Buffalo Bill by hunting for the railroad crews. It is estimated that Cody killed 4,000 bison over a 2-year period. In 1870, over 2 million bison were killed from the southern herd to satisfy demand for leather made from their hides. From 1868 to 1881, homesteaders collected and sold bison bones, which were used in refining sugar, producing fertilizer, and fine bone china. At an average price of $8 per ton, $2.5 million worth of bones were sold in Kansas during that time period. It takes about 100 bison to produce a ton of bones, giving us approximately 31 million bison killed during this time. By 1871, hunters were allowed to kill bison from the trains, and a St. Louis outfitter traded 250,000 bison hides in that year. By 1872, hunters were spilling out onto the plains, killing an average of 5,000 bison per day, every day. By 1873, the southern slaughter of the bison herd peaked. With hides bringing $1.25 and tongues bringing 25 cents, most of the carcasses were left to rot. One worker claimed that you could walk 100 miles along the Santa Fe Railroad line and not touch the ground, stepping from carcass to carcass. By the end of 1874, the southern herd was mostly wiped out. Auctions in Fort Worth were moving 200,000 hides every day or two. One railroad reported shipping 7 million pounds of bones. By 1880, the attention had shifted to the northern herd, and the slaughter was well underway there. One county in Montana shipped 180,000 hides in 1881. By 1883, bison were mostly gone from the United States and were disappearing in Canada. An 1884 survey estimated that there were 325 bison in the U.S., including 25 in Yellowstone. By 1889, there were only 1,000 bison estimated to be left in all of North America, about a quarter of which were in private herds and zoos. Around the turn of the 20th century, there was a concerted effort to save the remaining bison, and there are an estimated 400,000 in North America today, mostly in private herds. Yellowstone is the only place in the United States where bison have lived continually since prehistoric times. They are the largest land mammal in North America, with bulls standing 6 feet at the shoulder and weighing 2,000 pounds, and cows standing 4 to 5 feet at the shoulder and weighing 1,000 pounds. One common misconception is that bison are buffalo. Bison and buffalo are distinctly different animals. There are no buffalo in North America outside of zoos. There is no consensus as to how the bison came to be called buffalo, but most believe that it came from a corruption of the French word la bouffe, which means beef. Bison look to be slow, lumbering animals, but looks can be deceiving. They have been reported leaping over fences that are 10 feet tall. They are strong swimmers and can run at a rate of 35 miles per hour. They spend an average of 9 to 11 hours per day grazing. In the winter, their massive shoulder hump provides muscle that allows them to swing their huge heads from side to side, clearing snow and creating foraging patches. Bison live an average of 10 to 20 years in the wild, with females breeding beginning at age 2, and males reaching their peak between ages 6 and 10. For the Native Americans of the region, bison were a combination of a general store, grocery store, and department store. Being migratory animals, influenced Native Americans into the nomadic life as they followed the herds. Bones were used to make tools, instruments, and weapons. Buckskin produced clothing, bedding, cradles, teepee covers, and moccasins. Hair was used for stuffing for pillows and dolls and to make ropes, bracelets, and headdresses. Rawhide was used for clothing, shields, buckets, and drums. Horns were made into weapons, cups, spoons, and ladles. Teeth could be made into jewelry. Tails became fly swatters and whips. Hooves were refined into glue, rattles, spoons, and wind chimes. Muscle could be made into bows, threads, snowshoe webbing, and jerky. The relationship between bison and Native Americans indirectly contributed to their downfall in the 19th century. Both General Sherman and Sheridan are on record as advocating for the extermination of the bison as a way of starving the Native Americans and forcing them onto reservations. After enduring through a determined effort at extermination and showing resilience and bouncing back, it seems appropriate that the bison is at long last our national mammal, taking its place alongside the bald eagle in representation of our nation.